Hello Muslim friends of the world. France's Muslim population now numbers around 6 million people, and with an estimated 2,500 mosques in existence, Islam will increasingly be at the center of fashion. A French family of 9 converted to Islam. This interesting phenomenon has recently attracted the attention of several French TV channels. This family transformation began when Kevin, as head of the family, first converted to Islam and changed his name to Farid. Kevin admitted that he, who previously had a bad past, changed after being influenced by Islam. Initially, his wife, Christine, who is now called Ines, did not immediately convert to Islam. But gradually, the woman who now wears the hijab followed in her footsteps and changed her name. This blessed couple then decided to educate their 7 children in the path of Islam. Ines even decided to quit her job as a nurse to raise her children while working from home after being refused to wear the hijab at work. Many French television channels covered this phenomenon by showing several families who decided to change religions and embrace Islam. A documentary shows how Farid and Ines lived after embracing Islam. I converted to Islam at a mosque around 2002. My parents gave me the first name Kevin, but I decided to change my first name. Now I'm Farid, he said Farid. Together with my husband, we chose to give Muslim names to our children, said Ines, mentioning the names of her 4 children who have an Islamic background: Ilian, Ibrahim, Miriam, and Hasna. Since embracing Islam, this family has been actively practicing religion, teaching their children the Quran in Arabic from an early age and introducing them to prayer procedures. In the documentary film circulating, Farid and Ines' children are seen learning to read the Quran. Here, we will use Fatiha, the mother told them. The journalist asked Ines to explain to him what was written in the pen. Ines then explained that it was part of a verse from the Quran which reads Alif, Lam, Mim. This is a computer created by the sheikh so that children can pronounce words and terms better, said Ines. We plan to send our children to school either in Egypt or Saudi Arabia, because it is important to learn Arabic, which is the language of our religion and the language that will be used when we will be there, in heaven, God willing, he added. Despite the challenges facing Muslims in France, the family is an example of successful conversion to Islam in Western society, offering a message of hope and courage in these difficult times. Known as the fashion capital of the world, France has seen a consistent influx of Muslim migrants from countries such as Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, and Sub-Saharan Africa in recent decades. The statistical data underlines the substantial growth of the Muslim population in France, which now numbers around 6 million people, constituting around 8 to 9% of the total French population. Projections show an annual increase of 17% in France's Muslim population. The religious landscape in France is undergoing a transformation, as evidenced by the proliferation of mosques across the country. According to the French Muslim Religious Council, CFCM, there are currently more than 2,500 mosques in France, which is a significant increase from the approximately 2,000 mosques recorded in 2015. This demographic shift suggests that French Muslims may have a greater influence on Europe's socio-political and cultural landscape. The president of the International Union of Muslim Scholars, IUMS, Sheikh Ali Al-Qaradaghi, gave a speech at the Independence for Palestine Forum in Istanbul, where he highlighted the extraordinary trend of many Westerners converting to Islam in droves. We are witnessing significant changes in the Western world, especially in France, where 17,000 people have converted to Islam since the Aqsa flood. This shows a positive trend towards our faith, and it is our duty to foster understanding and unity, said Sheikh Karadadi. In 2006, a note from the French Ministry of the Interior stated that more and more people were converting to Islam. According to sources close to the Interior Ministry, they are found in Haitian communities, among French of African origin, West Indians, or even Portuguese. They converted like their friends in the city or through marriage to a Muslim. We call it proximity conversion, the Interior Ministry said. In French media, a French evangelical pastor, Seydou Djibou, found that many of the country's young people are embracing Islam. Many of our young people are converting to Islam, he said. According to him, this phenomenon began to occur in 2001, increasing rapidly since 2015. However, these deadly attacks attract and seduce the younger generation to seek dreams, an ideal that they no longer find in our churches, he said. Evangelicals often live in the same neighborhoods as Muslims, in the working-class suburbs of Hauts-de-France, Saint-Denis, Lyon and Marseille. Many priests consider themselves superior to Muslims, sometimes even looking down on them, preferring to deny the reality that worries them. This will admit their failure, he added. According to Pew Research Center projections, by 2050 the Muslim population in Europe could reach 11.2% of Europe's total population. In fact, if immigration were completely banned, Muslims would still represent 7.4% of Europe's population in 2050. According to data, the number of Muslims in Europe between 2010 and 2016 increased by more than 1%, namely from 3.8% to 4.9%. Massive immigration and staying for work or school are the reasons for the increase in Muslims in Europe. Between mid-2010 and 2016, Europe reportedly welcomed around 2.5 million Muslims. The number of followers of Islam in France is indeed very interesting to discuss. Because the French national team itself is currently the center of attention after successfully advancing to the final round of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. In this final, the Les Bleus squad will face Argentina. As is well known, a number of countries on the Blue Continent actually have quite large Muslim populations, one of which is France. France is the largest home in Europe for Muslims from various circles, ranging from local Muslims to immigrants or migrants. Even though Muslims have existed in France for a long time, both in mainland France and in areas outside Europe, the mass migration of Muslims to France in the 20th and 21st centuries has made this country one of the countries with the largest Muslim community in Europe.